Hey everyone, Howard here from Growth Velocity Academy. Why you need a mentor. Guys, getting a mentor is one of the biggest decisions you're going to make that is going to rapidly improve your chances of success. Why? Because guess what? These are people who have already been through what you've been through. So what I want to talk about in this video is why you need a mentor. And I'm going to give you some examples of exactly who some of my first mentors are, how I found them, and then how they helped me. All right. And I'm also going to share the one biggest mistake I see people make that drives me crazy when people reach out to me asking for if I can be their mentor. Okay. So make sure you stick around. Okay. So why do you need a mentor? So getting a mentor is, it's one of those huge things, and it can be really, really frustrating because I remember when I was growing up and I had launched my first business. This was actually my second business that I'd launched, and I was living in Ireland on a farm miles from anywhere. Like the nearest neighbor was about a mile away, and he was another farmer, right? And here I was trying to launch a kind of technology online business, and I didn't know anyone that had done this before. So none of my neighbors, no one around me knew how to do it. And like I knew one or two other people in the world that had even launched a business. And I remember there was one guy who I knew who had launched a business. And I kept on kind of like trying to get information from him, but he was just like, he did not want to help me. And I just felt really alone. I felt really, really lonely. Um, so I want to talk about three main ways, three kind of key things to help you find a mentor, and also why you need that mentor. Okay, so the first one is to understand your why, understand the why you need one. Okay, so a few years ago, I went to Everest Base Camp. All right, and I didn't go right to the top of Mount Everest, but I went to the base camp, which is about three quarters of the way up. It was still like crazy hard. And on our journey, there was a guy called Anil, and Anil was our Sherpa. They're called a Sherpa in Nepal, and Neil's job was essentially to help us get to base camp. He'd been there, he was a local, and he'd been to Everest Base Camp, that journey. He'd done it probably 100 times already. So he really knew how to get us to that point in the mountain because he'd done it so many times before. For him, it was easy. We were there with all our camping gear, and I actually think he was wearing flip-flops, you know? And I really remember there being one point where we came to a fork in the road. Okay, you could go left or you could go right. And I remember one of the people in my group started walking left. And I remember Anil going, no, 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 don't go left. That's the hard way and the long way. Come this way. And he ushered us over to the right. And he said, come this way. This is the short way and the easy way. So guys, I remember just when he said that, I just kind of remembered that moment, and I just think it was a lovely analogy for, when you're launching a product or launching a business or launching a career, because we're all trying to scale a mountain. Think of our career or our business being like a mountain, and it's something we're trying to climb. It's a journey we're on. Now, there are people who have been up and down that mountain before, people who've launched a similar business to what we want to launch, or somebody who, kind of has been down that career path in the past. And if you find someone like that, they can be a bit like Anil, and they can stop you going, making the mistakes that send you off down the wrong direction. A good mentor will help you get there in the fastest amount of time, making the fewest mistakes. And, potentially, like, think about it. If you go down the wrong road on climbing a mountain, sometimes you can go off a cliff. and a good mentor will help you protect you from that. So the number one reason number one why you need a mentor, you need a mentor, is because they have gone up and down that mountain many, many times. So for them, it's easy, and they can go, no, do this, then do this, go this way, don't go that way. And it'll really fast track your success. So that's the first thing. The second reason you want a mentor is you want someone who can, believe in you. Now, going down a new career path that's maybe a little bit unconventional, or launching a business that's, maybe a more unconventional path in life, which I know if you're listening to me now, you're that type of person. Okay, because you're just like me. I was that person. Like, no one else in my family launched a business like I did. And I felt really, really lonely. And one of my first ever mentors, when I'd gone back to university the second time, I got kicked out the first time, and many years later, I went back a second time to university. And I remember when I joined the university, I remember seeing there was a sign up on a wall for a business plan competition. And I had an idea for a business. So I submitted my idea for the business plan competition, and I won the business plan competition. And there was this guy called Richard Kelm, who was the head of the entrepreneurship part of the university. And he essentially mentored me through that idea. And I'll be honest, the idea wasn't the best idea in the world, but there was just something. It was the first time anyone kind of believed in me as an entrepreneur, kind of believed in me, in my ideas. And that's the second thing a mentor will do. They'll put you in an environment, maybe a group of people, or, maybe it's the one-on-one help they give you, and they just believe in you and they just want you to succeed. It's hard. Going down an unconventional path in your career or your life can be lonely, guys. I know, I've been down it. And just having someone that's on your side, that's going to support you and going to kind of believe in you and pick you up and push you on when maybe you're low. That's the second thing a mentor will do. And then the third key thing the reason you need a mentor is because you get to learn from them. Now, I remember my second mentor that I got, and one that really changed my life as well, was a guy called Dan. And I'd met Dan. I kind of had heard about this guy many years ago, and I kind of had read some blog posts he had written. And he came to London. I remember I reached out to him and I asked to interview him for my blog. And there is like blog posts of me interviewing him on my blog. And we kind of kept in touch, and I worked out with him on one or two projects. And then I got an email from him, maybe about 3 years later. We kept in touch, but then 3 years later, I got an email from him saying, hey guys, I'm launching my first coaching group. I love helping other entrepreneurs and marketers. So I'm launching a coaching group for the first time. Hit reply if you'd like to know more. And I knew that was an opportunity for me to learn everything I could from Dan, right? I'd learned a bit from him in the past, but when I looked at, let's go back to the first point. Remember I said Anil, when I went to Everest, Anil had been up and down that mountain a number of times. I looked at Dan, and Dan had already set up three multi-million-dollar businesses and he'd had 2 or 3 exits. And an exit is when your business gets bought by somebody else. He was, the Silicon Valley entrepreneur, had 2 or 3 businesses launched, 2 or 3 exits. And I thought, that's exactly the mountain I'm trying to climb. And I had an opportunity to work closer with him. All right. And sure, it wasn't cheap. I remember him telling me how much it was. I forget the exact amount now, but it was certainly about $6, $7, $8, maybe $10,000. And I did not have that at the time. But you know what? I just found a way to do it. I think I, put some on my credit card or whatever. But I just said, listen, I know he is going to be able to get me up my mountain faster. And I remember investing in that. And when I look back now, that was one of the pinnacle kind of turning points in my career, because the people he introduced me to, the decisions he helped me make, that was right just at the time I was launching my mobile advertising business that went on to raise millions in investment. And I just wouldn't be where I am now unless I had kind of invested in myself to get the extra support from him. Okay, so really what I'm been talking about is getting a mentor is one of the biggest things that is going to fast track your success, especially if you pick one that has climbed the mountain that you want to climb. And just be wary of that. Don't pick somebody that, you know, is a nice person but hasn't done what you want, what you're trying to set out to do. Pick someone who has climbed the mountain that you have climbed, that you want to climb. And that's the reason why it's so important. And they will believe in you, help you egg on, you'll be able to learn from their mistakes, just like I did when I was climbing Everest. Okay, so guys, what I've just been talking about is the importance of finding that mentor. I hope you listen to this, you get a mentor, because it's really going to help you. And if you know anybody that you think this message would serve, please do share this message with them, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, peace out and chat soon.